My fellow pickleball Americans, you may have heard that I was elected president of the UPA Pro Player Committee. It's honestly a great honor to be elected to represent the 188 pro players, but for a long time, I haven't exactly been a friend of PPA management. So, how did we get here? Well, the UPA is currently in the process of renegotiating contracts with players and transitioning away from guaranteed salaries that players were given in 2023 and towards more of a prize money model. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to pause this video and watch this one where I explain it because you need to understand that first. I'm excited to announce that I've also signed this extension, so the UPA is going to be stuck with me through at least the end of 2028. And you guys are going to hear my yapping too. But before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that I learned how to tie a tie for this. My first attempts were pretty abysmal, but that's the type of effort that I'm going to bring to you on a weekly basis as your president. So if that doesn't earn your subscription, I don't know what will. And I already know somebody in the comments is going to say, Zane, you should have already known how to tie a tie. Well, Karen, you should already know how to hit a third shot drop, but you don't, do you? Okay. Anyways, in response to this round of negotiations, several players, including Tina Pisnik, Jesse Irvin, Declan Barr, Colin Johns, Gabe Tardio, and Jay DeVilliers, formed the World Pickleball Players Association, WPPA. From the player side, it seems like Colin and Tina are the main spokespeople. Colin was interviewed by ESPN on the topic, and Tina was interviewed by the Sports Business Journal. I'll link both of those articles in the description. Now, this isn't the first time an external association has been attempted. In fact, every single time negotiations have occurred with the league, somebody's tried to create a players' association. There have been several attempts. Most recently, in late 2023 and into 2024, was the Player Collective, which was spearheaded by Jill Braverman. The track record for external associations hasn't been good, but the WPPA is working with Sports Solidarity. Sports Solidarity is an organization that was involved in unionizing minor league baseball players in 2022. Based on this track record, I think it's reasonable to believe that the WPPA has eventual unionization in mind. Around the same time, the UPA announced a recommitment to their own internal organization, the UPA Pro Player Committee, which consists of Roscoe Bellamy, Matt Wright, Eric Onsines, Federico Stocksrud, Brooke Buckner, Catherine Parento, Annalie Waters, Georgia Johnson, Elise Jones, and yours truly. Elections were held last week, and I was voted to serve as president. I definitely didn't campaign for this, and I really didn't want to be president, actually. In fact, I voted for Elise as president, but I'm going to do the best I possibly can to make some actionable improvements for the players. This is going to sound cliche, but it really is a great honor and a great responsibility. I think that the players appreciate that I'm not somebody that can be walked over. I'm somebody that's not afraid to say what I think and criticize the league when I think it needs to be criticized. But at the same time, any criticism that I have is always paired with what I believe to be an actionable solution. I think we need to realize that we're still very much a startup, and unionizing too early could be detrimental for the league and, as a result, the players. Players need the organization to succeed in order for them to succeed and for them to get paid. We're not the NBA, we're not the NFL, and we're not the MLB. I think we need to work collaboratively and focus on changes that don't affect the P&L of the league, and we were already able to secure some pretty solid wins. As I mentioned earlier, we're in the middle of contract negotiations, so most of the changes we've been able to make so far relate to the player contracts. We've been able to reduce the number of required events from 25 to 22, eliminate clinic exclusivity, which opens up tons of additional revenue for players, increase prize money to include the round of 32, and simultaneously capping draw sizes at 64. And finally, we got an off-season. We got a 6-week off-season for the first time in pro pickleball history. A few more initiatives that we are working on is establishing a player disciplinary committee to govern fines and punishment. I think it's fair and reasonable for player representatives to have an equal seat at the table when punishments are being doled out by the league, such as Andre Daescu's $50,000 fine for sticky stuff on his paddle, or Wang Yun's $50,000 fine for violating the exclusivity part of his contract, allegedly. RIP Wang Yun's contract. But historically, players have had no recourse or nobody advocating on their behalf, and the league could theoretically act with impunity. Next, we want increased transparency surrounding points calculations, draw creation, and scheduling. If you go to the ATP's website, you can see exactly how many points were earned by a player in each one of their appearances. We want to be able to have something similar. So our focus again as a committee is going to be making changes that don't affect the bottom line of the league, but can have a meaningful impact for the players. Anyway, that's what's going on in the politics of pro pickleball. I've had enough of this suit. Make sure that you subscribe to your president.